Okay, hopefully we did questions 1 and 2 using the additive property of equality with decimals. Now we're going to use the multiplicative property of equality with decimals. Again, we're going to isolate the variable. We're going to use inverse operations. So here I have 7 and 5/10 equals y over 3. Remember what fractions mean. They mean division. So I'm actually going to rewrite this, and I'd like you to write this on your practice paper too. 7 and 5/10 equals y divided by 3. Same thing. Okay, so now we're going to put it on a balance. And we have y divided by 3. If I'm going to isolate this variable here, I have to do the opposite of divided by 3. So we need to multiply both sides by 3. Okay, so over here I'm left with y. Over here I'm left with, when we multiply, we ignore the decimal until the end, and then we count how many spots we need to move it over. 22 and 5/10 equals y. If I plug in 22 and 5/10 here, 22 and 5/10 divided by 3, it should give me 7.5. Okay, here we have 12 and 5/10 equals 5u. Remember, 5u means 5 times u. So I'm going to rewrite this. 12 times 5, 12.5. And I'm going to switch the order. U times 5. Okay, so I'm going to isolate my u. So I'm going to do the opposite of times 5. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5. That's going to leave me with the u over here. Now I need to figure out how many 5s go into 12 and 5/10. Remember, with decimals, we bring them straight up. So divide, multiply, and subtract. Bring it on down. Bring it on back. Divide, multiply, subtract. Bring it on down. Bring it on back. Divide, multiply, subtract. I have a remainder of 0, so I don't have to keep going. My answer is 2 and 5/10. 2 and 5/10 equals u. I can plug in 2 and 5/10 here. 5 times 2 and 5/10 equals 12.5. Okay, one more practice problem. X over 7. So x divided by 7 equals 11 and 2/10. So I'm going to put that on my balance. Use my equal sign as my fulcrum. Isolating my variable. The opposite of divided by 7. You got it. Times 7. And if it looks a little sloppy, you can always rewrite it off to the side so you can see it better. Okay, so I'm going to ignore my decimals until the end. And then I'm going to count how many spaces I have it in both factors. So my answer is 78 and 4/10. If I plugged in 78 and 4/10 over here, 78 and 4/10 divided by 7 is going to give me 11 and 2/10. All right, so that's our multiplicative property of equality with decimals. Tomorrow we'll cover multiplicative property of equality with fractions, and then the additive property of equality with fractions. But this is what we're doing today. Finish those next 2 problems and then try to knock some of these out on Alex. Good luck.